Okay, this is going to be great. Let's get this party started because today we are talking once more about the Leo Carlson offer sheet situation. A league-shattering, earth-moving event where Leo Carlson signed an offer sheet worth $18 million AAV. 5 years with the Philadelphia Flyers. A contract that was inevitably matched by Anaheim and thus leaving Leo with the Ducks while still making that high amount of money. Carlson set the market, Macklin Celebrini then matched it, and now we are living in this era where young NHL players in their early 20s who have already displayed top-tier talent are getting paid absolute top-of-the-line money. That is, with the exception of Adam Fantilli, who, at the time of me speaking into this microphone from Yokohama, Japan, we still have not seen the guy sign a contract. He still is unsigned heading into this upcoming year, and he's coming off of a 59-point in 82-game campaign with the Columbus Blue Jackets. Now, there is an argument to be made that says, hey, wait a minute, Adam Fantilli is just one total point behind Leo Carlson in NHL total points. Carlson has 141 points in 201 games. Fantilli's got 140 in 213 games. Not to mention Carlson, he had a really great playoffs this previous campaign against Edmonton and Vegas. So this is a guy that is like neck and neck, essentially, right? Leo Carlson has himself a bunch of more playoff points, but regular season-wise, these guys are very similar, so why couldn't Adam Fantilli also get $18 million a year? Well, a lot of it is because Fantilli did play more games this previous season. Leo Carlson is coming off of a very amazing, isolated year of just sub-point per game play in both the regular season and the playoffs. He's a little bigger. He's got that Mats Sundin-like quality to command the game down the middle as a Swedish center. Adam Fantilli still needs to work on it a little bit before he's able to fully come into his own. But with all of that said, there is a conversation to have about Leo Carlson and the $18 million AAV contract that he ended up signing with the Philadelphia Flyers. Because a new discussion posted on NHLTradeRumor.com by Bill Scott goes out there and talks about how the Philadelphia Flyers could revisit the Adam Fantilli offer sheet conversation because his talks with the Blue Jackets have come to a halt. The Philadelphia Flyers may have already fired the biggest offer sheet of the NHL offseason, but Adam Fantilli's unresolved contract situation with Columbus is giving hockey fans a reason to wonder whether Danny Briere could possibly reload. Fantilli remains unsigned, and recent reporting has the two sides still separated in negotiations. Elliot Friedman reported that Columbus could be somewhere in the $12 to $12.5 million range. Meanwhile, the rapidly changing market for elite young players has made determining Fantilli's value significantly more complicated. Here is the important distinction. There is currently no credible report saying the Flyers are preparing an Adam Fantilli offer sheet. In fact, previous Daily Faceoff reporting indicated the opposite. But circumstances have changed enough that Philadelphia's name naturally keeps resurfacing. Man, I love this paragraph. It's like, hey, even though no insider has said that there is actually fuel to the fire, we still can talk about it because it's being discussed about enough around the block. After Danny Briere already showed he was willing to put 4 first-round picks on the table for a potential franchise center, completely dismissing the possibility makes this one more of a fascinating NHL rumor that still hangs over this summer. Essentially, the main thesis here is, could Philadelphia offer sheet Fantilli? And could they also be willing to give up 4 first-round picks to get him? I mean, we know that they were willing to do that with Carlson. That's why they signed the guy to the gosh darn contract. But is Adam Fantilli in that same tier where Philadelphia would feel comfortable saying, hey, let's give 4 first-round draft picks over to Columbus so we can get this guy on our team? Why the Flyers could still attempt to go after Fantilli, The reason the rumor refuses to disappear is simple. Fantilli checks the most difficult box on Philadelphia's roster-building wish list. He is a young center with legitimate first-line upside. Fantilli finished the 25-26 season with 24 goals and 35 assists for 59 points in 82 games played for the Columbus Blue Jackets. At 21 years old, he already has 3 seasons under his belt and remains young enough to develop alongside Philadelphia's emerging core. From the writer Bill Scott's perspective, that is what makes Fantilli more interesting to Philadelphia than almost any veteran center who could become available through trade. The Flyers would not be simply acquiring a player to help them next season, they would potentially be acquiring the centerpiece of their forward group for most of the next decade. Now, let's talk about the offer sheet math and how this could pressure Columbus. Philadelphia has $13.78 million in projected cap space, while Columbus sits at $13.5. Those numbers make the situation fascinating because a Fantilli deal near Columbus's reported range fits for both clubs, but an aggressive Flyers offer above that level could force roster moves. This is where you look at the table over here. I mean, if the offer sheet AAV is $15 million, for example, the Philadelphia Flyers need an additional $1.218 million in cap space. The Blue Jackets, if they wanted to match, they would have to free up $1.5 million. The cost, of course, would be 4 first-round picks. Starting at 12.5, it's already 4 first-round picks. But as we had seen with Leo Carlson, Philadelphia is willing to go super, super high on their long-term number 1 center to be. The biggest obstacle isn't actually finding the $500K or $1 million, it's the draft pick compensation, yada yada yada, so we'll see whether or not that's actually able to go down. Then there's a combination of age, position, and upside, which gives him tremendous trade value too. That makes sense in my mind. Adam Fantilli obviously would be one of the most valuable pieces in an NHL trade market if he were to actually hit it. But the entire conversation about him getting offer sheeted for potentially 4 first-round picks of equivalent value, maybe even reaching the highs of Leo Carlson, is something that I think is worth talking about. When you acknowledge just the market for young players, Connor Bedard, Celebrini, Carlson, and Fantilli are the new age, in a way. If you wanted to talk about other guys that have bled into that residue, I'd say Bowen Byram is the biggest guy on D that has benefited from this explosion of young talent getting paid, but Adam Fantilli is still waiting on that deal, either with Columbus or with another team that's willing to offer sheet him. And the question on whether or not Flyers fans would be comfortable giving up 4 first-round picks for Adam Fantilli is an interesting one. Dexter's Pup Life says that Fantilli is not as good as Carlson, but still better than what the Flyers have at center. Sorry, Zegras. And would more than likely be better than any of those draft picks and what they would turn into. And I would agree with that. Maybe Zegras is slightly better today, but Fantilli is young. He has so many years ahead of him where he is going to be better than Trevor Zegras. We've already discussed that those picks are likely low value and unlikely to turn into a player of Fantilli's ilk. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense as well. If you sign Adam Fantilli to an offer sheet, you're probably making the playoffs every year, you're probably looking pretty good, and those first-round draft picks are all probably going to be in the 20-plus range if you're Philadelphia paying attention to the potential here. What, getting 4 first-round picks over 4 years in the 20-plus range? Are you going to get a guy as good as Adam Fantilli? Probably not, right? So with all that said, common consensus seems to be probably yeah. If Philadelphia is going out there and giving up 4 first-round picks at an offer sheet, they're probably fine with it. Maybe he doesn't get 18.5 mil, but maybe he gets 14, 15 mil. You can let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Does Philadelphia have the wherewithal to send 4 first-round picks to Columbus via an Adam Fantilli offer sheet, double dipping in the 4 first-round pick territory after Leo Carlson was offer sheeted months ago? Thoughts in the comment section down below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.